Clemson Tigers trying to keep that home skiing intact for openers. They haven't lost for a while. In fact, they haven't lost a home game since back in 1980 when North Carolina beat them. So they've won 7 straight, trying to make Boston College the 8th consecutive victim here at Death Valley. And Kevin Snow teased the ball up for the Eagles, but it comes off of the tee, so we'll try it again. Clemson Tigers await the second half kickoff. Here we go. Snow drills it back into the end zone. Ball bobbled around back there. But that's all there is. And the ball will come out to the 20.
Terrence Flake, I believe, got his hands on that ball. He was back there along with Steve Griffin, 2 freshman return men. Danny Ford making good with his promise. He wants to see these freshmen in game situation.
And they have performed admirably. A little breeze blowing. Now at Death Valley, the temperature is at 91 degrees. Homer Jordan looking that outline again and completes over on the far side to Stockstill. Jeff Stockstill. He caught 4 in the first half. That's his 5th reception of the game. Boston College defensive line, and there's a couple of very active linebackers right there. DeOssie and Fitzpatrick. Thurman and Crawford have been busy too. Pick up a 3. It's second down, 7. Tigers try to go off right tackle. Pretty good leg movement over there for Fitzpatrick in to make the stop on the play.
Some Eaglettes seem to be happy. I don't think they have much to cheer about right now. Chuck McSwain, big ball carrier, been a big play guy for the Clemson Tigers, never started.
What an effort by McSwain that time. He did most of that on his own. Third down, about 2 yards to go for the first down. Here's Homer Jordan, hit as he releases the ball. Oh, almost a great catch along the sideline for the Tigers. Who was that, McSwain along there or what?
Rod McSwain almost comes up with a beautiful, beautiful catch. Homer Jordan hit right as he threw the ball by T.J. Fitzpatrick. You see his stats, 9 completions, 17 attempts. Been throwing at about 54 to 55%.
Brings along Dale Hatcher now on 4th and a yard. Stands back at his 15. Little pressure on this time, but Hatcher hit this one. Brennan at the 28. Fair catch. So the Eagles of Boston College now will put it in play for the first time here in the second half. Their own 28-yard line, trailing at 14-0.
They need this score bad.
Something they didn't do, Ken, in the first half was put the ball on the ground all of that much, and now apparently Jim Bicknell has decided that, or Jack Bicknell rather, has decided he's going to keep it on the ground and keep the Clemson defense guessing. Strahan, that's a Stratford, dodging and weaving close to the 10-yard line. That youngster bounced off of a couple of Clemson tacklers.
Well, we might be having trouble with Troy Stratford and Steve Strahan's number, but those guys aren't having any trouble running the football. There's the offensive coach getting ready to send Strahan back in the ballgame, but Troy Stratford shows why they made him a scholarship offer.
Give him 9. It's second down and 1. Stratford not very big, 5'9", 175-pounder from Fort Linden, New Jersey. Handoff. Stratford again, first down. Dan Benish makes the initial hit, but the little guy wiggles inside the 5-yard line. You've got to be impressed with that guy you're looking at right there.
He's a good-looking running back, and as you said, not very big, but he can fly.
Jack Belcher over the ball at center. He's a good one. Lively and Reagan, the guards, Catlin and Kowalski, the tackles. And that's Stratford again. We've got a flag on the play. Not much going there. Benish was in on the stop. Also in quickly was Johnny Rembert, the linebacker.
Now we've got another holding call, or so Clemson indicates. Illegal use of hands.
Oh, how big those penalties are, Ken Willard. When you get down in there close, you're on the road and you're trailing 14-0. You've got a good-looking drive going.
This is really important for them. It's only a 5-yard penalty, but they've taken themselves out of scoring range each time. Now, this is a situation where I think you ought to get a guy like Stratford out of the ball game and bring in Strahan.
Zdanek goes wide to the right. Brennan goes to the left side. Stratford dots the I behind Bistek, the fullback for Boston College. There's the handoff. Stratford drops the ball. Comes open in the seam. Touchdown. Oh, what a great run. Now let's see. The ball was dropped. But let's see. Stratford.
A touchback.
It is. But I thought Stratford crossed the plane before he dropped the ball.
Well, it looked that way, but they're not calling it. It's Terry Kennard.
Yes, they are.
They're calling it a touchdown.
I thought he had crossed the plane before he dropped the football.
Well, I thought he had also, but none of the refs would venture a move down there. It was definitely, in my opinion, a touchdown, and it looked like they were waiting for each other to call.
Everything, of course, stops as soon as you cross the plane to that goal line. Now, watch and see for yourself.
This is a draw play. He drops the ball here, picks it up, and he can motor.
Oh, is he
now
quick?
He makes a quick move here at the goal line, and looks like he jumps. Now, there's the movement. He was in the end zone.
That ball was slapped right at the plane of the goal line, but it's touchdown there. Here's the kick up, and good. So Kevin Snow puts it through, and the Eagles of Boston College are on the board with one fine-looking drive against the Tiger defense. It's 1st and 10, Boston College, as you look at Jack Bicknell, and he watches his team, and the Clemson defense is swarming on the first play. Flutie could get nothing going that time. Well, I'll tell you, Triplett was there almost immediately with the snap of the ball, and it's a loss of a yard.
He and Belcher are having a little bit of trouble on their exchange today. That's the second time they've had a fumble at the snap.
8:16 to play, third quarter, 14-7. The Tigers lead it here at Death Valley on a hot Saturday afternoon. Handoff comes to Bistek. He's across midfield to the 49-yard line. Arrington was the first man there. Kennard also came up to help out on the stop. Bistek, the big fullback, going to get about 4 yards on the play, make it 3rd down and 6. Going a little bit more on the delay now, Ken, out of the backfield on some of the running plays.
Well, the Clemson defense is turning that front line loose, and they're using good judgment.
Third down, 6. Boston College just over midfield. There's Flutie getting pressure from the outside. That comes up short. The reason it came up short because of that man right there, number 82, Danny Triplett, who was coming from his left linebacker position and had the pressure on Doug Flutie all the way.
Well, they had a chance to keep that drive going, but too much pressure from Danny Triplett. Doug Flutie had trouble throwing that football from the seat of his pants.
Scott Nizelek will stand back at about his 36-yard line. Davis is back deep at the 10. There's Nizelek, the senior from Branford, Connecticut. Oh, nice high kick. That's going to sail into the end zone. And we'll come back out to the 20-yard line where the Tigers will put it in play, 1st and 10. So with the score, the Clemson Tigers 14, the Eagles of Boston College 7. We pause briefly for these messages on the Raycom Sports Network. 3rd down, 2. Under a minute to play here in the 3rd quarter. Tigers lead 14-7. Double tight end. Little pitch back here. Comes to McSwain. He's in trouble. And he is not going to get it. In fact, he just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
That was a good play just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, it really was. The Aussie was there on the play, and Lubisher was also over there. Those two guys have had fine games.
I think Danny must have some empathy for his players. He's played 4 tight ends today. The latest one Jeff Wells.
Brian Brennan, deep for Boston College.
The Eagles look like they're coming. Here they come on Hatcher. He hits it high in the air. Brennan with a fair catch call at the 42-yard line. That's where the Boston College Eagles will put it in play as we wind down near the end of third quarter action here at Death Valley. Full house as usual on Saturday afternoon here at Clemson.
In fact, they just announced they were building 15,000 more seats.
Well, as you look around and see the folks sitting up outside the stadium on some of the high banks here, you can see why. Good field position for the Eagles. Flutie wants to throw, in trouble, down he goes. Oh my. First man in, Perry was there. First man in was James Robinson. And Perry then finished it off.
At 312 pounds, William Perry will give anybody a headache. Jim Scott was in there quick. It looked like Doug Flutie had someone open early.
And we've got 3 down at Death Valley. So at the end of the third quarter, it's the Clemson Tigers 14 and the Boston College Eagles 7. We'll be back with fourth quarter action in a minute. The announcers for this game are approved and selected by Raycom Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or duplication of this broadcast without the express written permission from Raycom Incorporated is prohibited. Now we've got another 15 minutes of football to go, and this is still anybody's, Ken Willard, which has, I think, been better in the second half. There's Jordan and Austin, a pretty good tandem for Clemson Tigers as they look on. But Boston College has been running the ball more here in the second half, and it's created more havoc for the Clemson defense.
It's going to an audible.
Big third down, 6 to go. Flutie looking long, got a man wide open, got it. Nizelek with the catch. Terry Kennard on the defense.
Much to Doug Flutie's credit, he recognized the defensive formation. Look at Jack Bicknell. He's happy. He called the audible at the line of scrimmage. The receivers ran seam patterns. They each picked a seam, went straight upfield. He picked Nizelek out, and Scott just ran under it before Terry Kennard comes up.
It is on the 18-yard line, make it the 17-yard line, where the Eagles will put it in play. And Doug Flutie saw something he didn't like, so he's going to call timeout to talk with head coach Jack Bicknell. We played less than a minute here in the fourth and final quarter, and Boston College is on the march. We'll be back with more Atlantic Coast Conference football action after these messages. What a third quarter. Clemson with that big lead in rushing yardage, but I'll tell you what, the Eagles got a bunch in the third quarter themselves. Murphy and Shrigley go wide right. Here's the pitch back. Here's that Stratford. Look at him turn and drive inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line, where Dan Benish is there to make the hit for the Tigers.
To truly appreciate Dan Benish, I think it takes a play like this. He had to work his way over the Boston College blockers and go down laterally the line of scrimmage and make the play on a very fast back in Troy Shadwell.
Number 22, Doug Flutie, and the folks up in Natick, Massachusetts have to be very proud of this young man. He's just a sophomore, making things happen offensively for the Eagles. Lifts it, end zone, wide open in the end zone is John Shane, touchdown. Oh my, John Shane split Kennard and Arrington.
That's that zig out pattern they ran again. He comes down about 10 yards, starts to run the post pattern, turns it right back out again. He had Vando Arrington turn around and encircle.
What a soft touch by Doug Flutie. Just lifted the ball into the end zone. That's the third touchdown in 2 games for John Shane. Caught only 2 passes against Texas A&M, Ken. Both went for touchdowns, and here this afternoon, he scores a big one. Talk about big ones. Look what Kevin Snow has facing him. This could tie the ball game. And he's got it through there. We've got a brand new ball game with 13 minutes, 27 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter at Clemson's Death Valley. Watch it. Coming right into your living room.
This is the play. We don't get the chance to get isolated on the receiver. But as you can see, he's all alone after making that cut back out. John Shane, another angle. He sets up. Now Shane has come down and started to run a post pattern, turned it back out. Beautifully soft thrown pass.
Hey, give the Boston College offensive line, which by the way is massive, averages about 254 pounds up front, but give them credit. They're holding out one of the finest defensive lines in the country to give Flutie time to throw the football.
Well, if you have a quarterback like Doug Flutie, you learn to pass block, and you take a lot of pride in protecting a guy. Danny Ford not real happy. The Tiger team is shocked.
Kevin Snow set to kick it off for Boston College. Flagler, Griffin deep. There's Griffin, 35, fumble the football. I think the Eagles have it.
Boston College ball. Oh, Howie,
oh, what a turn of events, Ken Willard. I think it was Lubisher that came up with the football.
Christopher?
Yep. No, I think it was Lubisher. He's being congratulated. See here comes Griffin to get it. Let's see if Lubisher got off of it.
Well, Griffin looks like he's setting sail. He looks good here initially. Makes a cut. As he cuts back, here comes a hit.
First down, Boston College at the 21-yard line. Could this game come down to the men that boot the ball? Clemson, of course, with the great long-range kicker, Inikwe Bigwag. And we have to keep that in mind as we come down near the 12-minute mark of this one. Boy, look at Flutie's feet. He overthrows his man down near the end zone. That's Niazalek. No, I'm sorry, that's Shane again.
It looks like they're still trying to go back to that same well. And I think Vando Arrington might get smart after this is all over with, but...
well, they've been picking on him over there. On that left corner, the junior out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. You know, it didn't take Boston College long to get in that tying scoring drive. Just over a minute and a half and 5 plays to move the 58 yards with the Flutie to Shane touchdown pass. They're going to try it again. Flutie, end zone, wide open in the end zone. Well, it would have been out of the end zone anyway. Not much of a chance over there for Zdanek. William Devane had some pressure on Mr. Flutie that time, too, from his middle guard position.
Well, they need to get a little closer. It's going to be a pretty long field goal, approximately 37 yards. I don't think Kevin Snow, although he kicked a 31-yarder last week against A&M, 37 is stretching his range a little bit.
Well, it's third down and 10. The way that Flutie puts the ball up 10 yards, not very far for Boston College. And the defense has got to be on its toes. Here's a handoff. Stratford up the middle. Benish was the man that made the hit. That was Howie Brown and not Stratford. Howie Brown, the senior from New York City, gets maybe one on the play. It's going to be fourth, and now we're going to find out. Kevin Snow, who hit a 31-yarder in the Texas A&M game, is 1 for 1 this year. Kevin Snow. Jack Bicknell watches. This would be about 37 yards, and he's got it. Kevin Snow with a 37-yarder puts the Eagles of Boston College ahead. They've come from way back to take a 17-14 lead. So the Eagles leading 17-14 over the Clemson Tigers. We break for these messages on the Raycom Sports Network.
The things we try to do here on Sports Probe is to probe into the what's what and the who's who of sport. The what's what are the issues, the who's who the personalities. One of the nice things about Sports Probe is the feedback we get that it's an opportunity to discuss the issues and see the personalities in great depth. So join us here on Sports Probe as we probe the who's who and the what's what of sports every week on the USA Network.
Well, there he is, Kevin Snow. He's just a freshman, and well, you can see he loves that. John Lockery, the holder, as they celebrate. Kevin Snow is a freshman, 5'9", 160-pounder from Marlborough, Massachusetts. Danny Ford now concerned with his Tigers. They don't lose often here at Death Valley, but they trail by 3, 11:49 to go in the game. Here's Kevin Snow's kick. It's going to send Flegler into the end zone where he makes the catch about 4 yards deep. And the Tigers will bring it out to the 20-yard line, and that's where they'll go offensively. The folks are not leaving Frank Howard Field early this afternoon. Tigers 80 yards away from pay dirt, trailing 17-14. Handoff Austin. 6 or 7 on the play as he goes right up the middle. Steve Diassi gets to him. So does Dave Pereira. Now the minds are at work on the sideline, Ken.
Certainly a time to keep your composure. You got so much time left in the ball game, over 11 minutes. Clemson needs to run its ball game, which is a short game. They do not do well trying to go deep.
Austin got 9 in the last play. Second 1. Austin gets the call again. Not much. Perhaps enough for the first down before Diassi is again there to wrap him up. That's a 34 going on 50 here this afternoon.
That coach a profession to do it. Very pensive, Danny Ford. Worried about his ball club. Expecting them each week to come back to the same type of stage they were at in their great year last year. Has not seen it, and he's worried about it.
Austin has the first down. Now comes out as Chuck McSwain checks back in at the tailback position. Call in front of him. There's McSwain. Also, there's Diassi again. Lubisher is also there quickly. Both these linebackers for Jack Bicknell's Eagles have reacted so quickly this afternoon. And I'll tell you, Lubisher, who's playing in place of co-captain Russ Joyner, has also done a good job, Ken, from that defensive end. Big
well,
number
no one
93.
expected really that Boston College could stay on the field down here in this hot weather. They didn't think they had enough players, but they've certainly exhibited a lot of fine players.
Homer Jordan looks at second down and 8. He's in trouble. And down he goes. First man that got over there to him was Paul Shaw. 5 plays to move 16 yards in a minute and a half for the Eagles, kept by Kevin Snow's field goal of 37 yards. And it's 17-14. Tigers now face a big third down play. 3rd and 8 at the 34-yard line. Magwood wide to the right. Stock still there also. Little toss out of the backfield. Magwood comes wide open. There's a big first down. He gets into Boston College territory before he's finally run out of bounds by Todd Russell. Fans love it.
This is their way. Clemson's got to win the ball game. Nobody around Magwood. Everyone else had gone to someone else. Here we go. Rolling out, looking downfield, sees Magwood all alone. Just a matter of putting it up and letting the guy run with the ball.
Big first down, Tigers at the 47. Handoff deep. McSwain steps away from one tackle, gets across the 40 into about the 37-yard line. Good run by McSwain. Paul Shaw, the defensive end, finally there on the tackle. That's a great running back.
Well, if you're a Danny Ford, you'd like for him to keep the ball on the ground and eat up a lot of the clock. I certainly wouldn't want to give the ball back to Boston College with a lot of time left in the game. They can work wonders with just a few minutes.
Boy, the sun has gone down behind some heavy clouds now. It looks like rain could be moving in. Handoff deep in the backfield. Ball was loose momentarily, but down goes Kevin Mack in the arms of George Radachowski. It's 4th down. Thought Mack was going to slip away for the first down, but Radachowski did a good job. So
double tight end offense right now.
4th and a yard. Big call here for the Tigers. They'll go to that double tight end. Handoff. Mack has the first down, I believe. Driving straight ahead. Steve DeOssie drove in there, but I don't think quick enough to stop Mack, who has the first down, I believe.
I said double tight end offense. That's a triple tight end offense. All they do is take out their flanker and bring in Jim Worst, and they leave K.D. Dunn and Bubba Diggs in the ball game at the ends.
This is close. Had to get the ball right to the 32-yard line. And from this angle, as Danny Ford looks on, I'd say they have it by about half of the football.
It would put you into a tough decision zone.
Well, they've done it by the length of the football. Danny Ford sends his 2 wide receivers in. Stockstill comes in, checks in at the split end, and Frank Magwood back in at the flanker now. And they'll both come wide to the near side. 17-14, Boston College with the lead, and the fans are alive. McSwain met hard at the line of scrimmage. Scott Harrington, the middle guard, the first man to get to him, and obviously the last man to get up off the stack. The 242-pound sophomore out of Westwood, Pennsylvania. He's been battling in there with the Tigers center Gary Massero. Give him a yard on the play, make it second down. 9, long 8. Homer Jordan delays at the line of scrimmage. Down he goes, but he's got a first down. Homer Jordan. That is a play very similar to the one that he scored on against Georgia. That I don't think is a broken play. I believe that indeed is a quarterback draw play. Von Nessen was on the stop.
Homer will run that play once or twice a ball game. Very capable, excellent runner.
7.5 minutes to play. Tigers will work out of the eye. That's Austin. Not much going there. Over quickly is Lupusher to make the stop. Joyner, I believe, is also there.
Now this is when the Boston College defense has got to stiffen, stop them, at least make the field goal a contested field goal.
That was DeOssie and Joyner that stacked that one up. 2 pretty good ones. Joyner has been on the bench some with an ice pack on his knee. The senior from the Bronx, New York. 2nd and 11, looking to throw. Jordan, almost stepped into some wide open area, but Rob Swanky got a hold of him by the ankle.
Could have walked in, Jim. If he'd have gotten by Rod Swanky, he could have just walked in. There was nobody on that side of the field.
Absolutely right, Ken. He just had it wide open, so Swanky had to get a big star on that one. You can see what's happening in the distance to the north of us here. It is really getting cloudy and nasty looking. In the backfield, down goes McSwain, and who was that? DeOssie was coming hard from his linebacker position.
Big play. Steve DeOssie.
Well, he's made more than one here this afternoon, Ken. DeOssie, look at him coming.
Chuck McSwain. Never had a chance to really get it going.
Now we're going to get a chance to see that foot of Donald Igwe. Long distance. He can hit him from 50 longer. This one's going to be about a 43-yard try. He's got it up. It's long enough. He's got it. And we've got a tie football game. Igwe. But we've got a penalty marker down, I think, so hold everything. A marker down at the line of scrimmage. So let's get the call. It was on a 4th and about 14. So depending on what the call is here.
Now, unless they...
It's a holding.
Unless it's 15 yards.
And defensively should give the Tigers a first down. Should give the Tigers a first down. Well, the conference goes on. The referee, Courtney R. Mousy Jr. Well, there have been some critical penalties, Ken, in this football game. And that could be the most critical of the lot so far, with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the game. Now let's see.
Quite a bit of confusion right now.
They're going to, apparently would not be the first down, so the Tigers are going to take the field goal by Ikwe and tie this ball game at 17-17. The fans here still stunned. So with the score, the Tigers 17, the Eagles 17. We pause briefly for these messages on the Raycom Sports Network.
Hey, Mike.
Pick up the action at the 43-yard line. The Eagles 1st and 10. Hedden and Nizelak off the field, both under their own power. Rudy, man open. Shane. He's got the first down inside the 30-yard line. And it started to rain here at Death Valley. It's not very hard at the moment, but there's a light sprinkle. Terry Kennard was the man on the stop.
Brian Brennan was so far alone, sitting in the end zone. I don't know what he got free on, but I bet you he's gone back to tell Coach Bicknell, hey, throw that one to me.
Time getting away. Just now under 4 minutes to play in the game. 1st and 10. Ball at the 28-yard line. Flutie with a big rush on. Flutie throwing, man wide open, overthrows Zdenek down at the 5-yard line. Oh my! Zdenek had put a move on Arrington, was wide open at the 5, but Flutie had tremendous pressure coming. One of them, I think, was Rembert. The other one was William Devane.
William Devane, 265 pounds, can really motor. Doug Flutie running for all he's got. He had Zdenek alone. If he could have gotten the ball back inside, that was touchdown, would have put Clemson in a, well, tough situation.
3:48 to play. There you see it all. The scoreboard tells the story in a 17-17 football game. Zdenek left, Brennan right for the Eagles. Handoff up the middle, B-step. He's a big, hard-running fullback. Gets across the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Terry Kennard was up quickly to make the stop.
As thunder cracks over the stadium, fans start to look elsewhere for a place to sit. This puts you in a tough situation as a coach. We got a new field goal kicker. Well, it hasn't put Coach Bicknell in a tough situation.
No, but this play right here is a big one. 3rd down, 6 for the Eagles. Flutie will not hesitate to throw. Look out from behind. Now that may take him out of field goal range. That's Scott, isn't it? Oh, Jim Scott came from his right tackle position. The junior from Alexandria, Virginia.
Big play for the Boston College Eagles and Clemson. Jim Scott sheds his blocker. Doug Flutie never sees him coming. Starts to cock before he can. Jim Scott's all over top of him. Big play out of field goal range. They've got to go for the first down.
Well, let's see. I think they've got Snow in there. This will be a 50-yard drive. So we'll see the range now of Kevin Snow. He's got it on the way. It's going to be another wide to the left. Wide to the left. With 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in this one, you can see the folks in orange on their feet here at Death Valley.
Well, Jack Bicknell said yesterday that he felt Kevin Snow had a limited range. But 50 yards, it looked like to me he kicked it about 47.
The last offensive chance for the Clemson Tigers on 1st and 10. Pressure on Homer Jordan put on back there by Steve Lubisher. Boy, what an afternoon he has had. You can see the time that's left. right underneath the paws of the Tiger. Clemson fans are on their feet, some 65,000 strong. Jordan on, look in. Great pass also. George Ratajkowski is over there on the stop.
Kendo Alley hasn't seen much action today, but he just got himself a big one.
You know, that was a great defensive play, too, but Homer Jordan was right on the money. Down to 2 minutes to play. Big first down, Tigers. Don't forget, you've got to give them a bit of an advantage with the foot of a Donald Igwe on their side, who has a range of better than 50. That's Austin, tries to turn it outside before he's run out of bounds. Junior Poles, the big defensive right tackle, got over there in a hurry to string that one out.
In situations like this, your yardage is down the middle. You're not going to get much on the sidelines. They're expecting you to throw on the sidelines. If you want the big play, try for the post across the middle.
The rain is really coming down now here at Death Valley. What effect that will have, we'll have to see. Linebackers were coming. Jordan rolling, still looking, throws it out of bounds. Boy, there was pressure on. Lubisher was the last man to get the pressure on, but the linebacker number 99, Steve DiOssi, really was coming up the middle.
Steve DiOssi's been in Homer Jordan's face all afternoon. And of course, this is the situation. You want those linebackers to blitz and put some pressure on. They've got their work cut out for them.
You talk about big third down plays, Ken Willard. 3rd and 8 face the Tigers here at their own 46. 1:46 remain in the game. Magwood, Stockstill split right. Looking over the middle. Oh, there's the big man again. Kendall Alley. And George Ratajkowski makes the stop.
I don't think they get any bigger than that. Kendall Alley making that post pattern cut. There he makes that cut. He looks in. Tough pass to catch. Ratajkowski right on him. Close to interference. Well, Alley makes the catch.
He's the 3rd wide receiver in there now. Big first down. Minute and a half to go. Clock runs. Handoff Austin. Big hole. Clip Austin inside the 35 down to the 31-yard line. Getting within range of Igwe.
Getting very close to Igwe's field goal range. A couple more running plays, and they should be ready. There he is. He's ready on the sidelines. He won't kick many big ones.
Didn't even know anything about this American game called football. You see the clock. We're now under a minute to play as the rain comes down. That's the handoff, McSwain. Big play, Junior Poles wouldn't let him turn outside. T.J. Fitzpatrick was there, but it was Junior Poles, the big senior All-America candidate out of Caledonia, New York, that made it by himself. Fought off the block. 46 seconds to go. Good look at James Farr, big offensive guard for the Clemson Tigers. Tigers, of course, lost their opener. 13-7 to Georgia. Crucial measurement here. First down by about half of the football. 2 heavyweights of college football going toe-to-toe for 15 rounds here at Death Valley this afternoon as the lightning cracks down. First down play. Up the middle, the handoff goes to McSwain. Steve DiOssi is there. That was Jeff McCall. Steve DiOssi is on the stop. Stockstill coming out, coming in with a play is Rod McSwain. 28 seconds to go. It's raining hard. The wind is at the Tigers' back, which would even help Donald Igwe. 2nd down and 8. Handoff comes to the 2nd man in there. Down goes McCall. With 13 seconds to go, this may be the cue, Ken, for Donald Igwe.
I think Donald's ready. It's a good thing he doesn't understand much about the game because he wouldn't understand how much pressure's on him right now. The coach just comes over and tells him very politely, don't miss it. And as long as he doesn't understand that, he's perfectly happy.
Well, Danny Ford is a concerned man, obviously. Boy, I'll tell you what, Boston College, they came back out here in the second half, Ken, really ready to play. Different game plan altogether, run the football a little bit more, and it caused some problems for the Clemson defense, but, well, the Tigers have hung in, too. It's been a tough afternoon.
I tell you, I've become an admirer of this ball club, and Donald Igwe-Bikwe is in the game.
We have 13 seconds to go. There's the record, a 52-yarder. This one won't be that long. The ball spotted at the 26. They'll spot it down at about the 33-yard line, which would be a 43-yard attempt. But the wind is at Igwe-Bikwe's back.
I'm going to let you say his name from now on.
I've had it about 3 different ways for the last 30 seconds, so jump on in. Another timeout on the field.
Well, I think there's a little gamesmanship going on. I'm sure that Donald is looking at his coach saying, I'm not worried. And Danny has told him it's a long way back home.
And the one thing that the officials want to do at this time, too, is keep that football dry.
Well, that's correct. And, of course, Boston College turned around and called another timeout to get Donald thinking. And I'm sure by this time he has probably sunk in how important this is.
Okay, here we go. Anthony Karate, reserve quarterback, will hold. The ball is down. It's long enough. It is no good. It's wide to the left. It is no good.
Now, this Boston College ball club came down to North Carolina last year, their first outing into the ACC territory, and were wiped off the field. There's Danny Ford, not very happy. Many thought that they'd be awed coming down to Clemson. They weren't.
Well, there's only 8 seconds left to go in this one, Ken, and you're right. They had a chance to fold their tent when they went behind 14-0 there in the right at the end of the first half. They didn't. They came out, fired up, and it's a 17-17 ball game. Let's see which way they decide to go in the last 8 seconds of this one.
This team's going to put it up in the air. They're going to try to win it.
Here's Flutie. Flutie looking. He's got a man flying. That's Shane. He can't catch up to it down at the 25-yard line. I'll tell you, Ken, if they catch that one, and there's a very disconsolate Donald Igwe-Bikwe, but if Shane catches that one, it's at the 25, and now you're talking about another field goal attempt.
And he had an excellent opportunity to catch it. I've never seen a better pass on the run. To the opposite hand side, and he puts it up about 40 yards, and John Shane comes close to catching it.
Only 2 seconds remain in this one as the rain continues to pelt down. Boy, it was a hot afternoon here, and the rain cooling everybody off right now, but certainly dampening the spirits of the some 65,000 Clemson Tiger fans who have yet to see their team win here, the national champions in the 1982 season. A loss to Georgia, and apparently what will be a tie to Boston College here this afternoon. Little handoff up the middle, will run it out. That's Stratford, the ball carrier. And that's the story here at Clemson this afternoon. Some may say a shocker, but I'll tell you, we saw a couple tough football teams. The final score, the Tigers 17, the Boston College Eagles 17. We'll be back with a wrap-up right after this on the Raycom Sports Network. College Football 82 on USA has been brought to you in part by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline. It treats dirt like dirt. By Toyota, who reminds you that it's a good feeling to buckle up for safety. And by Levi's jeans, cords, and shirts for quality and style you can count on. Now for Ken Willard and all of us at the USA Cable Network, this is Jim Forrest saying so long from Clemson's Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina.